Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Valentine's Day.
A day late.
Yes, we don't really celebrate that because our anniversary is next week.
Every day's Valentine's.
Oh, every day is Valentine's Day. That's a suck-up move. So he must want something. So how are you? Are you ready for love taps? I think this is a great message for all leaders to hear, or even a trainer, because it really has to do with the concept of how hard can I be on someone to bring out the greatness in them. And most people hold back on that. So they're afraid of hurting someone's feelings. And goodness, gosh, I can't think of hurting a person more than not helping them be what they really want to become or what their potential is. So anyway, let's start with our definition like we always do. So when you look at love taps, the definition, thank you. The definition is a sign of affection. I love that. Because a love tap can be, come on, or someone smacks you in the head and you go, what was that? It's just a love tap. It could be a tap on the back of the head. It could be a nudge of some kind, but helping them see that you're trying to redirect them.
Well, and it also could be, there was a great book that came out years ago called Love Marks. And it took the kind of this love tap concept, but from a visual, what a business or what a logo or what your service ethic creates that love to the consumer. And so, I think, yeah, it is a sign of affection. It's also, it's shown in many ways. So while it could be a tap or it could be a touch.
It could even be a look.
It could be a glance.
It could be, seriously now? Really? What was that?
So interesting topic. Thank you.
It could be a raising of the left eyebrow, which I'm known for by our children.
You've mastered it.
Why do you have your eyebrow raised? Because I'm redirecting you. Love taps can happen individually. So I could say, I'm working with this person, I'm seeing this, I need to respond to this. Or it could be a love tap for the entire business, something you're seeing that really needs attention and redirection. And sometimes a love tap is you're just not thinking correctly. One of the things we say to the children all the time is, can you say that differently? You want to try that again? What could you have said? And usually what do they say? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right, I'm sorry.
Over and over again.
5,000 times, I don't even mean it. But a love tap could be just redirecting. And how often do we have to do that in our businesses?
Well, and again, a love tap is something that, like branding, it's what it connotes in the mind of your staff or your customer, your guest.
Exactly right. What are they feeling from it? So, as we set the stage for this, all out of love, there are days. Yes? There are days, and I usually say something like, I hate everybody. Hate me, I'm sick of you, I'm really sick of me. And
is that going to be next month, hate taps?
I hate taps.
No, I don't think so. I don't like that.
I know, but there's times when, and I know as women, that I'm sick of everything. Sick of me, sick of the drama, sick of the stupids. And
come back, Terry, this is love tap.
I know it is, but hold on. Sometimes you're all out of love. And unfortunately, just like with your children, you don't get that luxury.
That's right.
Right?
We're in a service business.
We're in a service business. And it's unconditional service or unconditional love, but it's not unconditional tolerance. And so you have to figure out, what am I going to do? Because there are days when you just throw in the white towel and say, I don't care. Do what you want, when you want to do it. I'm sick of trying to teach you. I have had it. That's enough. I'm done. And then all of a sudden, you put your owner's eyes back on and you go, gosh, this is my responsibility. I've got to get back in the ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you do that? I'm reading a lot of articles right now. Thank you, Dana. She knows I need caffeine. I'm reading a lot of articles right now about how teachers are so frustrated with parenting that's given up trying to compete with electronics. Teachers are are giving up because if the parents aren't given responsibility or chores, which we have to get better at home, how are they supposed to give chores or responsibility in the classroom? And I sent you an article this morning about something that was posted in Forbes about 13 things that a lot of strong people don't do with their children. They think, I've got to be this in business, and at home I get a little bit lax. And it's very interesting. I passed it on to you this morning. Or I think I shared it on my Facebook, actually. So when you think about how you get back up and say, okay, I'm back in, Steve left me a message, these are our children, because I was having a very frustrating day. And something about love unconditionally. And I said, I didn't say I didn't love. I said, what did I say?
I said, you need to love unconditionally. You don't have to like unconditionally.
Well, that's right. But I said, this isn't about love. I think it was about trusting on an issue. I said, I don't trust unconditionally. And maybe that's a weakness of mine too. But there's times in business where I don't trust unconditionally. I feel like the inspection creates trust for me. I think you have a different approach. You trust unconditionally until you shouldn't. And so that's a different style right there. But we'll talk about that and going into that shortly. So love tap leadership is reminders to do the right thing. It's gentle, but needed reminders and performance expectations. Now, even at home, and many owners have said to me, how many times do you have to say the same thing? Like, no leggings, show up with makeup on, be on time, make sure you're doing a consultation. Did you talk to them about your take-home recommendation? Did you reschedule the appointment? Terry, I'm sick of saying the same things. Yeah, I am too. I'm sick of it. And, I picked up Urban Meyer's book again yesterday because, I highlight it and remark it and take a look at the things that a football coach has to do to win a season. And they don't work on it just during the season. They work on it 12 months out of the year. But they don't have the luxury of either not giving their performance expectations and doing their reminders. And we're going to talk about that. But you have to be able to see and take time to think about what you need to get done. Urban said yesterday, many owners don't spend enough time thinking about what they need to do to change what they're seeing that's not right. And you have to respond in accordance to your thinking, and you have to follow your gut. Your gut usually knows what's wrong. If it's bothering you, there's a problem somewhere. And if you keep coming back to that over and over again, there's a show that we watch and in the morning, and I don't want to go into names, but Steve will say, gosh, I know you can't stand listening to this young man speak. And I said, I can't. I don't understand a word he says. He's too fast. He doesn't pause. He doesn't breathe. He drives me crazy. And I'm surprised that the network is letting him get away with that. But someone is. And obviously someone has written in and saying, this isn't a compliment to the show right now. It's a distraction.
Or it could be that he speaks to an age group that's not us. That's possible.
That's your
because
fill.
it is a ratings.
It is a ratings game. But it's difficult, and I think that's the answer a lot. I've got owners. I had a top owner in the last week. I was on the road on the 5th, and I had an owner say, Terry, this generation, this new applicant that I have coming in, they don't want to learn from us. They don't want to. And I'm thinking, seriously? How can you not respect the people that paved the way before you? And maybe I said, maybe you're not talking about why you have created this business and what you have done to get to this point enough.
Well, and I think just to call attention to that situation, I think that we're in an era right now where there's so much quotation marks, learning that is taking place on people's mobile phones or their iPads through YouTube. And first of all,
It still doesn't teach you how to think in someone's business.
and even if it does, it doesn't teach you how to be a team. There's something magical about learning together. There's something magical about coming together as a group. Love taps take place when you are gathered as a group. I mean, think about it. There's nothing about a love tap that's individual. When you do, tap yourself, hit yourself on the head. That happens. But nonetheless, it's not the most conducive way. I've just been watching an old movie that I'm seeing for the first time, and it's called Coach Carter.
Have you seen it, Brian? Oh, it's good.
One of the things that I loved in that movie was new coach coming in to a very low level scale of 1 to 10 school. Academically, it's a 1, and takes over a basketball program that won 5 games the year before and was in total disarray. And so there were some things that he did, and I think I'm really impressed with what I saw in this movie. It's a true story. First day of practice, he asked everybody to sign a contract that he signed as well as a coach that said, this is what you can expect from me, this is what I need from you. And we will be a team if anyone breaks this. So long story short, one of the players who played the previous year walked out of the gym, wanted nothing to do with it. Came back about a week later and wanted to be part of it. And what he did was he looked down, the coach looked down at the number of push-ups and suicide drills that the team had done in his absence, and said, the only way you can rejoin this team is if you do 1,000 push-ups and 1,000 suicides. And you have to do it by Friday or you're not on the team. And he said, quite frankly, I don't think you can do it. I don't think it can be done. So you're welcome to try. So while all the practice is going on and whatnot, you see for the whole week, this young man doing suicides and push-ups and just exhausted and sore. And it got to be Friday, and he said, you're 240 push-ups short and you're 300 suicides short. I'm sorry, but you'll have to leave the gym. And it was a really cool moment that took place because it was in front of the whole rest of the team. At that moment, one of the team members said, Coach, you said we're a team. I'll do push-ups for him. Another member said, I'll do suicides for him. And it went all around. There were probably 10 other team members, and they each agreed to do something. Got down to the last one who hadn't signed anything, and he was so frustrated. Well, I guess I'll do suicides as well. He really didn't want to, but he did. And to me, that was the ultimate love tap that took place, because it was a realization of what the coach had asked them to become as a group. And a realization that they could be a team and help one another in that situation. And it was, again, it was magical, but it didn't take place on YouTube. And it didn't take place on Instagram TV or on Facebook Live or any of those things. It took place because they gathered together and said, this matters. They gathered together and said, we can, all of us, be something more than any one of us. And to me, I think that's the ultimate love tap.
Good. That's why you're supposed to see the movie. So, 2 things I've always talked about that a person needs out of themselves as much as they need from their leadership is appreciation and discipline. And appreciation for knowing I did a good job. Appreciation saying, wow, well done. No one needs to tell me. It's nice if they do, but if they don't, I'm okay with that because I know I did it. And discipline is knowing what's expected of me, and I accomplished that as well. So if I can provide those 2 things, the trouble I see right now is good enough is. Mm-hmm. It's discipline is, well, I showed up, so I'm here, but not doing and being able to be understand and be able to appreciate your contribution. Most of the time, it's about getting out of there. I hear all the time, can I leave early? Can I leave early? Can I leave early? And it's creating some real problems within the organization because the people that are busy for a reason. The people that are slow are slow for a reason. And it really can break down the walls of the team atmosphere. In Coach Carter's situation, I don't think he'd ever be asked to leave a practice early, right?
No.
And he would say, if you don't have anything to do, go join a teammate. Go work on something. Like you always say, either work on you or work on work. And a lot of times the conversation is very much about how to get out of work versus leaning in to become better. And that's an issue.
Yeah, you know, when I see the word discipline, I think of Dabo Sweeney, the coach of Clemson University football. And he starts every year talking about the fact that you'll either choose the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Either way, it's going to be, to be great, it's going to be painful. And to not be great is going to be painful. So you make the choice. You're going to have that pain. But discipline is a very important part of becoming great.
Well, it's also, you know, I think that there's, especially when you're still learning in business or you're learning on how to do a project or you're learning how to cut hair or you're learning how to serve. There's so many aspects in business. It's not just technical. We've talked about this before. So many people rely on their technical gift and miss the other components of the business completely. You know, I was with the Salon, a group of people, and I said, if I had to say to you, where is your main focus mentally? Is it the technical side? Is it the service side? Is it the team side? Where do you spend most of your time that makes you think how this salon is different? And it's technical. And the other ones have to complement. And I don't want to argue about the technical side. And certainly that's not my thing to argue about. My thing is to argue about the implementation of the technical. How is that service being delivered to the guest? How is your working together as a team making that boat go faster? And that's the things that we wanted to talk about. I was in a salon and I said, you know, I was here a year ago and I'm here today. And I can tell you, there's more of you, number one. The tension of the staff is much higher. You've lost some of your joy. What's going on in here? And, you know, the tears started to fall. There's emotion that comes with that. And I said, you've got to find a way to get that back. Because if I see it, who else sees it?
Well, and what I think about when I hear that is that, first of all, a love tap needs to take place on the technical side of your business. The technical side, first of all, is entry level. You have to be talented technically in order to feel fulfilled. Everything not else other than technical is what you do for the guest. Technical is what you do for you. Both need love taps. Technical needs love taps. The technical is the easiest for you to want to put yourself in a learning environment. It's easiest for you to challenge yourself. It's how you measure yourself. It's every 30 to 60 minutes seeing a guest walk out and seeing your craft on display. Mm-hmm. That's important because that's what makes your feet hit the floor in the morning. That's what makes you the professional that you are. I love that about people in the personal appearance business. But the thing that I know is that your guest needs the love taps that extraordinary guest service and handling skills provide. They need to feel better about themselves when they leave than when they came in. And if they do, that's your love tap to them. Mm-hmm. You can't have one without the other.
Well, and seriously, is it easier to talk about a color formulation or you weren't looking eye to eye with that customer during that consultation at all. Most people are going to be able to be free in talking about the technical steps. This is more of an emotional side. And when, I think Jack says it best when I'll say, he says, are you mad at me now? No, I'm teaching. I'm not mad. We're teaching you right now. And then now he'll say, I know you're not mad, you're just teaching. Yeah, but you're not making improvements.
But let's think about something too, though. If you're talking about somebody with level 5 or level 6 hair and 50% gray, it's impossible for one hairdresser to be twice as good at covering that gray than another hairdresser. You cannot be twice as good at it. It'd be hard to even be half again as good at it. Everyone does that. So if everyone does that, what are the other things that are going to differentiate you and allow you to charge what you need to charge in order to stay active in this business when you're never going to be the lowest price in town? So you're always adding value.
It's always guest experience and guest care.
Absolutely.
Right. So if we look at the proof, I love this line, you need to have your heart in your business and your business in your heart. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And realize that it's the emotional side that's going to help here. You've got to have, this is kind of the things we're looking for to help them with. Their skillful heart, their skillful words, eyes, ears, hands, touch. We know that. What's hard is you have to be free. And, I think you have to be freed and able to develop. And so when I look at skillful intentions, one of the things I was thinking about is we had an issue at PSC a couple weeks ago. Silly, and I don't want to go into it, but I said, if Steve and I ever made that decision before? No. Have you ever felt or questioned our intentions to make sure that our team is comfortable? No. Have you ever seen Steve and I act inappropriately? No. Have you ever seen us have too much to drink or not carry ourselves as professionals in your presence? No. Okay. So if you know our intentions, work backwards from that. Because if you know someone's intentions, it's easier to be able to understand where they're taking you in a conversation. Right?
Mm-hmm. If
you don't, or if you think their intentions is they just want money out of me, that's a problem. If they know it's to make you, if you know it's to make you better on the other side, then your willingness to learn or listen or engage in a conversation about improvement is much easier. So then the question goes back: Are you stating your intentions enough? Do they understand? Is some of your staff's meetings starting out with your intentions, or we've used the word pledge in the past, on what you can expect from me as your leader? I think when you look at that and you understand what you want, are there things that you should have said that you didn't say? Every owner is going to say yes. Every owner, including the two of us. Meaning they might say, God, Terry, you say it all the time. No, there's times I don't. There's times I think, is that worth it? Or I don't feel like it, or gosh darn it. But I know it comes back to kick me because I just gave that permission to live on, whatever that is. So if they don't know your intentions, they're not going to understand your method of teaching. They're not going to understand your method of critique and your methods of trying to redirect them. So ways to love tap. I was talking to a team earlier and they said, if you see something wrong, how do you do that and not have them get mad at you? Okay. Maybe you say, hey, not like that, like this. Or allow me, can I share some tips with you? May I share? May I show? Even get the guest involved. We're a training salon here. I'd like to show her a couple things. Would you mind if I stepped in? This is how we do it here. This is why we do it here like this. That's ways to love tap, because many times you are going to have to love tap in front of a customer. That guest is going, and if you're a training salon, They should expect that. I'm going to redirect her right here. Or, this is something we learned in a class last Monday. We're all working on it right now. We're helping each other. To not say anything is letting them fail in your business. And that's not, and your responsibility is just the opposite of that.
Mhm.
So you have to say, we're a training salon, and we will say these things. We watch a lot of doctors programs. We watch The Doctor, Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, and a lot of times you're seeing things in a teaching hospital. And I love when a doctor has a resident in with him and he'll say, this is what we've got here. Now the patient's on the table watching all this. This is what we have. What should we do next? They're checking for knowledge. And that person's called on the spot to be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, whatever they say, we need to do a C2 scan and blah, blah, blah. And I'm surprised I don't know all the verbiage to calling up a complete workup. But they're doing it because they know their priority is to help this patient, but also develop the talent at the same time. That's not easy to do. Certainly not sexy, like in the beauty business.
That's right.
Right? But this is ways you can love tap that may be a little softer approach than maybe hitting someone in the head. I used to love Michael Jordan. I've said this many times. When he was playing with Coup Coach, the amount of times they would come in from a timeout and he'd hit them right in the head. Come on. What are you doing? You weren't where you're supposed to be. Let's go. And I'm sure he said other things too. But he was on the team with him, and they had a team environment that they could be free to help each other. And that's why I love when a player says, that's on me. I just made that error. That's me. I cut someone off this morning. I'm getting ready to go from 55 to 80, and the trucks were all coming in, and it got a little messy, and I didn't think there was room to let him in, and he looked over, and I said, that's on me, I'm sorry, and then he went, oh, okay. But if I would have said, yeah, you shut up, there could have been a fight, but you realize when it's you, right? Anything on this?
I think you covered it well.
Well, I think even in the schools, there's times when they certainly don't know it all yet, and they don't even want to be corrected in a school training environment.
Right. That's really true. And
so can you imagine the next level up?
And so just remember that it's based on your predetermined values that you've shared. Mm-hmm. If you haven't established your values, and then all of a sudden you want to show someone, you want to correct someone on the spot, that's going to be a problem. They may resist. But if your value is, and I guess what I do want to say on this is that really having a system is like a safety rail. It's like the tracks for a rail, even a high-speed rail. Those tracks allow that train to go very, very fast, safely. Mm-hmm. The same thing, what your steps of the service are, the way you handle a guest, the way you position your body, the way that you hold your scissor, all of those things, even the way, it's amazing for me to watch. I think I said this to our educators on Sunday, that you can see so much on Instagram or Facebook, and you see people that are Insta famous, and then you see body position isn't right. They don't even hold a scissor right, and yet they're putting it out there. Be a master. Achieve mastery first. If you're going to do something like that on Instagram, do it on your story, because it only lasts 24 hours.
Well, the last part that I forgot to say when I was saying, are you all about the technical side, customer service, the experience, speed? We've got some salons that are all about the speed. And we've got collections of salons. It's all about the speed. They would pick speed over technical. And I've got a salon right now that's having a hard time keeping staff for more than 2 years. And I think I've shared this with you. And I can tell you the biggest weakness that they haven't learned in that salon is speed. Theirs is all about technical and customer service, but no one's making any money because it takes them forever to get anything accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are focusing on one way or another, it could be at the expense of the whole operation. You have to be good at some point to make a great income in this business. It's got to be a combination of technical, experience, and speed, right? And all those need training and development.
Guest experience.
Yes, speed. Technical, guest experience, and speed. And we can show you, I can point to salons right now. It's amazing that people don't know that on their own. Saying I'm losing people because I'm not teaching them speed. I'm teaching them speed, but they're not getting any better creatively. Mm-hmm. I'm teaching them how to cut hair and do it fast, but they never look in the customer's eyes. You have to have a combination of all three of these. And that's big. And they'll know. If you ask your staff, what do you think we focus the most on, and give that equal billing time, is going to help a lot. Good? Mm-hmm. Oops, sorry. Yep. Okay, so here's the thing. If people are waiting to get there, oh, I see what you're saying. If you're waiting for an invitation to do a love tap, forget about it. If we're waiting to address in the next meeting, forget about it. And if you're waiting for the conditions to be perfect until you address it, are you nuts? First of all, I'm not smart enough to wait. It's not going to have the emotional impact. And they're not going to see my urgency in helping them if I don't do it on the spot, I think. How are you going to create that? Not like that, like this. Okay, 2 weeks from Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, we did that. And you let another 2 weeks go by.
There's a difference. I think there's things that you coach in the moment, and there's things that you make part of a future training program.
I'm good with that, but say something. know the difference, but to never say it, or to excuse it, or to allow. There's an expression that I use with Steve a lot is it's not okay for people to play house in our company. And you can allow their creativity, and you can allow their ideas to be put on the table to discuss and see if it works here, but they're not to play house in our company. Right? Okay. So next, your energy, we've said this before, but it fits here again. Your energy introduces you even before you speak, and energy equals leadership. And boy, Urban Meyer hits it. I think it's on page, and if you want to go back and just read it, and I would read it over and over again, page 148 and 149 talks about energy equaling leadership. And this is kind of going to be hard because I get to talk about my weaknesses now. There's two types of energy that Urban refers to. And he says, too much energy, too much. It can impair the development of the team. And it slows the team down. It becomes an environment that commands and controls. It starts to micromanage. It's heavy-handed, harsh in style, creates a culture of fear. Not intentionally, it just creates one. And sometimes discourages, disconnects, and demotivates. I fall on this side. If you had to pick which side we fall on, I'm on the left. Too much, right? Then you have the other side. Why don't you read this side?
Too little. Two spins off in their own direction. Standards are not clear. Don't hold people accountable. Lenient and soft. Wants to be buddies and friends. Creates an undisciplined culture.
These are his words.
These are Urban Meyer's words.
Urban's words. And he said, now how do I find a team, because he has 10 people or 9 that report directly to him, and he's going to weigh out their energy. And it's funny because if you don't have enough, you're screwed. If you have too little, you're screwed. And being the head maestro, and this was written in 2014-15, and we know what he's done and accomplished after that, but trying to find out how you're going to realize where you are. Most of the time, the two littles, they teach, but they teach conceptually. They don't teach systematic. They're hoping with their great words, people are going to get it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's you. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they could sit and talk to you and have folklore about the beauty industry for hours and hours and hours, and success stories and examples. And then afterwards, that was a great meeting. Of course they're inspired by their leader. Also, is there enough on the other side that says, and these are my expectations, this is what I need to get done, I'm not allowed to do it to my own drum, I have to follow the system. So it's an expectation of both.
So I don't remember in the book, is there, I mean, this is kind of like Little Red Riding Hood. Is that right, the porridge?
Mm.
No, the
No.
Three Bears?
Goldilocks.
Goldilocks. All right, where's the just right?
Where's the just right? You got to find it. And I mean, over the years, I've been told, I think when people spend time with you and know your intentions, I think they can handle the love taps in an easier way. If they don't know you, the love taps are going to be taken in a negative way. What are you thinking right now?
I just think I'd like to understand how where the blend is.
Well, and he talks about it a lot on this page, 48 and 49. And the way he ended the whole part of it, he said, on either end of the spectrum, too controlling or too permissive, you lose alignment, performance suffers, and we are no longer 9 units strong. And that's what this is. And too controlling or too permissive, you lose the alignment and performance suffers. Now, let's talk about if someone is out of alignment, you deal with it quickly and decisively because everyone's watching. And that's key here. So let's talk about some ways that people can be out of alignment. And it could be many different things. I just wrote some of the things that I had conversation about in salons and in salons or over the phone in the last 2 weeks. They don't have a servant's heart. Their attitude, they have a bad attitude right now. They've got some distractions going on. Their image has, their punctuality, their effort, their work ethic, team respect. Their conversation isn't positive in the back room. They're creating a camp. Their quest for improvement. They don't want to go to education. Their characters being questioned as part of the team. Look at all these things that could be out of alignment. I mean, commitment, connection, joy. Remember I said that Salon lost its joy, Salon's purpose. Disciplines, accountability, actions, trust, and Salon values. So when you look at alignment, how do you address this? Quickly, let's go back one. Deal with it quickly and decisively. Everyone's watching. If we think people are out of alignment, we know that other people are out of alignment too, meaning the rest of the people know the same thing. Mm-hmm. And how do we find that? You know, it's in all the chaos, you've got to be able to take time to think and say, how am I going to address these things? An exercise we did with the staff, we all went around and said, okay, does anyone have any distractions going on in their life right now? And I think this is a staff. I think there are 17 of us in the room, so it was a big staff. And I said, let's just go around. We don't have to say the whole story, but what's heavy on your heart right now? What's going on that might be creating a distraction? Well, one, I'm trying to buy a house. Another one, I need a new car. The other one, finance. I'm broke. I'm new to the floor. And I say the same thing all the time. When you're starting off, you're supposed to be broke and blah, blah, blah. But another one is my health. Another one was some heavy things going on. I said, just that. Look at the distractions we have in this room. And we have to be good enough for each other that these distractions, this becomes our safe place. And I told the story about that time you use that with Aaron and Craig. Mm-hmm. This is our safe place. How are we good here for each other? And if we've got issues of negativity or other things happening, it robs us of this place being safe. So if someone is out of alignment, in here, I was amazed at, I read the article, the chapter last night about when they're away games, there's a reason that your on the road record is usually less than, because your conditions are different, mm-hmm. right? So they have someone that manages their all their games that are away. They do site inspections for hotels. They do all the food prep. They have everything to get it as the same as they can. They always watch a movie when they're home. They've got to have a movie that they play down here. They've got to have a big ballroom, so when they go in, they can do their run-throughs in the ballroom, just walking around the ballroom together. There's so many things they have to have in place to make sure that they're able to play and operate at their best performance. Indirectly, what they're doing is they're trying to get rid of all the distractions and try to make it as safe and as easy as possible. So when you look at all these things, if someone's out of alignment, we have to address them. This is what I see. This is what I want you to work on.
It's a good point. And it's as much, people recognize muscle memory, and even haircutters recognize that's one of the things that they'll use to build up speed in body positioning and muscle memory. There's muscle memory in behaviors, and what you surround you. That's why a great free throw shooter has a routine. A great 3-point shooter has a routine. They've got a routine in everything that they do. They talk about how in football, the Super Bowl is so difficult because it's so different than a regular season game. There's 2 weeks in between. There's extra press responsibilities, physical appearance, personal appearance responsibilities, meaning they have to show up at this location and that location.
And if they don't,
they get fined.
Negative. Yeah,
they get fined. And the biggest thing that they talk about is the difference in the starting time of the game.
We talked that in our last E-Learning.
So that
40
day,
minutes.
That day, well, that's in the middle of the game.
Oh, it's the start of the game before the
from when they national
anthem.
But it's everywhere. It's also the start time of the game.
Right.
And so what things? I mean, to me, there's a regimen about the Salon. There's a way that it comes together. It goes from being closed to open. Are we paying attention to some of those disciplines that it opens in the same fashion? Do we take advantage of some of those things that need to be in place? Is it crisp? Does it feel right? Does it open with the intention? Is the intention obvious from at the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, or the end of the day? How much does that change? And if we want to go from good to great, how much does it need to change?
Well, I think if you've got someone, let's just say, talking about work ethic and team respect, someone that's always talking about going home, you have to bring them in and say, your reputation now is how fast can you get out of here, right? Maybe you should be our track coach.
Yeah.
So when you look at how people's decisions, look at the reputation. If you've want somewhere to start on alignment, write down or find out from your senior people the reputation of your team. And that will probably help you see very clearly where you're out of alignment. I think that makes a big difference. I love this next slide. because leadership is mindset first and skill set second. It's the mind that has to really think about what's working and what's not working. And I loved when Urban, I mean, we're going to talk, I should call him on the phone and tell him how much I used of this, but mindset first. So if things are going wrong, slow down, go deep, and figure out why. Why are things going wrong right now? What are we doing? Why are we getting beat? What are the problems here? Why do people want to go home? What's going on with our front desk? What's the problem here, right? And go deep, not surface conversation. Go deep. And if things are going right, slow down, go deep, and figure out why. Both of those have the same three things that you need to ask yourself. And then skill set is your standards and your systems. So many times our standards and our systems are in place. What we're working on right now is enhancement. So we're not trying to change our standards and systems. We're trying to enhance them and make them even more efficient. And usually when you're creating efficiencies, you still have things that can go wrong. And when you're creating efficiencies, you still have things that can go right. So you go deep and figure out why. You ask questions and you ask questions and you ask questions. One of the things that I was struggling with just recently with the team that reports directly to me, in most cases, when we're sitting around a table brainstorming, is I'll say to them, what do you think? What are you working on? What do you think? And many times they're not thinking enhancements. They're thinking operationally. Like run the playbook, run the playbook, run the playbook. No, I want to know what you think could be an enhancement for us. Well, I don't have anything. And I think, oh, I got to draw that out. Keep drawing it out because I don't want to hear just playbook. I don't want to hear pick, pack, manifest. I don't want to hear answer the phone, take the order, schedule a class. Those are things we do already. I want to hear yes and what else can we do? Mm-hmm. Sometimes our best ideas are watching a commercial or we were watching Duke play. This kid, Zion Williamson. He is something special. Duke #1, 18-year-old. I've never seen determination in an 18-year-old like I've seen with this young man. Very impressive to watch. I told Steve I can't take my eyes off of him. Every time I watch him, guess what? The ball's with him. I mean, he's all over the court. He's just has such, and Steve says he's probably going to go in the draft, even though playing 1 year at Duke. And the thing I asked Steve was what? When I said to him, you don't think he'd want to learn from
Coach K?
I said, you think he can leave Coach K that early? You think he can say, wow. I'm wondering if he's saying, this is what I graduated from high school with in my bag of tricks, and this is what I learned from Coach K. Should I stay here another year and learn some more from him, or should I go in the draft? Hard decision, but he must be a brilliant student, too. Student of the game, student of getting better, student at working at what do I need to improve upon in my game. So many times when I think about our team, do they get stuck doing it the way we've always done it because our leadership says that, or we really invite? I don't care what they know. I care about what they think. What could we do better? What could we do better to improve? You know, silence is the enemy of success and safety. And I just had this conversation with a dear friend of mine, and you know, I said, if we're not talking, it could be interpreted like I hate when I ask you a question and you'll say good. There's no way good is an acceptable answer, especially to me. I want to hear more. And I was watching Drumline. This is what I mean about thinking and paying attention and having lessons around you all the time. We were watching Drumline, and the band director was developing it. Did I say this already in the last e-learning? I did? I don't think this similar, but I'm going to say this again. The Drumline the director was teaching a young man who was one of the leaders in the band. He was running a line, and it's kind of like first chair, second chair, but he was running the line. And the director was trying to teach them. He said, when I met you, you used to love the sound of the line more than you love the sound of your own drum. And now you love the sound of your own drum more than you do the sound of the line. And I think when you lose your directive of yourself, if you lose your direction that you're trying to accomplish in your business, when you open that salon, you love the salon, the sound of that salon more than you did your own station, if you were still doing hair. And then when you get frustrated, you say, I'll just do more hair. I can do it all on my own. Then you start loving the sound of your station more than you love the sound of the salon. And usually that comes out of frustration. It comes out of frustration and not knowing how to lead, or you see the disconnects or the breakdowns, or that you're out of alignment and don't know what to do. So you go back trying to perfect your own game, right? Versus perfecting the game of others. And that's what's hard. You bring them together. We have an event coming this Monday where we have, I don't know, we'll probably end up with 150 people here. And that takes conversation. That can't happen without us talking about what needs to be done to facilitate 150 people here in this limited parking, in this limited setting for 2 hours. What do we need to do? And I'm telling you, ideas come every time we do it on what we can do better next time. And are we doing that enough in our own businesses? The question we ask all the time is, I could have been better today or served better today had I had this in place. What are the things that we need in place? And these are all love taps, can come in the form of a question, right? I see you're struggling on that. What do you need? Why didn't you lean in? You looked hesitant. What are you avoiding right now? Right? Those are love taps too, just even creating a conversation. Okay. I mean, if we go back to the first one, it's done with affection. Well, I want to talk about the drum line a little bit more, because how many times have we had conversations with owners where they want to give up? I don't. And really, I think that's how independent booth running was given life. Here, I don't want to lead it anymore. I can just rent you the station over here, and I don't have to deal with alignment. I don't have to deal with trying to make you better. I don't have to give love taps. I don't have to give the look. I don't have to be on the edge all the time trying to make you better when you don't want to be. And I think that's what happened. And, I was in a salon the other day, and I needed a haircut desperately. And I thought I needed a haircut more than I need color. And they said, no, actually, you need both. Sit down, please. We're going to team up on you to expedite this, because we had a dinner reservation to go to dinner. And what I said to the owner is, wow, did I absolutely love watching your people work together in a way that complemented. There was so much joy in that salon. They've got some things we're working on there too, but joy was absolutely present, and everyone was working together to really help each other. I wasn't left. I must have been asked, I'll give you an example. I was asked 5 or 6 times if I wanted a beverage. And they said, what would you do if that continually happened? I said, if I know they're on their way to ask, I'll introduce you instead. This is Steve. We're good here. Thank you so much. Don't let them be asked the 5th time where we look kind of silly.
Well,
asking it so many times.
I'm glad you brought that up. We were just at, myself and several other people from the company. We're just at a program in a very nice resort. We're there for a two-day training. And the arrival and meeting with all the different service providers. By the time we got to the hotel, checked in, put the bags in the room, and then met each other for dinner, I had been asked no less than 15 times if it was my first time on the property. And the first time, nice gesture.
Oh, thank you. Mhm.
Even the second or third time, okay, I get it.
Fifth time, you want to poke someone in the eye.
But by the 15th time at least, and everybody in the group was talking, I just said, has anybody else been asked this as many times as I have? And the point is that sometimes what our intention is taken so literally that it's awkward. What could have been? So I started thinking, what could someone ask that maybe would come out the same way? Ask me about something in the resort, and I may offer
Have
that
you
I've
seen
been
the
here
pool?
before.
Yeah. How
Have
are
you seen the
you?
pool? How are things at the entryway? How
Did
did
you
you
get your name?
enjoy your check-in?
Did you get your bracelet on?
Yeah, whatever the case may be, but don't just keep saying, "Is this your first time here?"
Well, that's just like a grocery store saying have a nice day, and they don't mean it at all.
Right.
Get in your bag and get in your cart and shut up.
So in the name of great service, sometimes we sound awkward or sloppy. So think
Well, it
about
sounds
those
like you don't
times.
mean it.
Yeah, it sounds rote
Mhm.
rather than intentional.
So we're done. Brian, do you have anything for us? Nothing comes in, does it?
Question-wise, no questions.
Do you have any questions for me?
Not a one.
Okay. Not one question. Don't answer good.
It's good.
That's good. I think this was a good topic.
Thank you all. Have a terrific month.
And don't forget, Urban
Yeah,
Liars.
read your book. Many
Above
of
the
you
line.
have this book now. So
This is
please.
my third time through, and I absolutely love it. And do you have to know football? No. You'll have a couple times where you go, what are they talking about? But for the most part, it's all about leadership and created a united push. Go Bucks.
Remember, it's learning plus action leads to success.
O-H-I-O. Goodbye.
Thanks.